The movie starts with two fishermen fishing on a lake, while an air tanker is approaching them from behind. The plane misses hitting them by a few meters. Then the scene cuts to a big forest fire, where firefighters are scrambling to put out the fire. When the situation gets tough, they call for air tankers' help. Here we meet Pete. Despite his tanker being low on fuel, he's eager to put out the fire for the ground team. His girlfriend Dorinda and friend Aliaki, both of whom are air traffic controllers, warn him about the danger. Pete shrugged it off and made jokes about the situation and put out the fire by himself. While returning to the airport, he realizes that he is out of fuel and his engines are shutting off. But with Pete's amazing piloting skills, he manages to land safely, where everyone cheers him off except his girlfriend. She's mad at him for putting his life in danger and flying his plane recklessly. So to teach him a lesson, she flies the plane dramatically around the runway. After that, Pete greets her birthday, but she was having none of it and went away. Later that night they meet at a bar where everyone is having a good time. Pete gives her a gift to please her, but she refuses to take it and his gift gets thrown off the table, which reveals a beautiful dress inside it. When she sees the dress, she is very moved and goes away to try it. When she came back, everyone was stunned by her gorgeousness. Pete and Dorinda enjoy the night while dancing. The next day, before Pete takes off for another forest fire mission, Dorinda stops Pete and they share a kiss. After that, Pete takes off with his friend Al to extinguish the forest fire. After Al dropped water from his air tanker, his plane got hit by a burning tree, which led to one of the engines bursting into flames. Seeing this, Pete quickly dives down his plane and puts out the fire with his excellent skills. But as a result, Pete's plane gets into the flames of the forest fire, which ends up blowing up and killing Pete instantly. After that, we see Pete walking down a burnt forest unharmed. A mysterious woman named Hap greets him and offers him a haircut. During the haircut, Pete finds out that he is dead and it's been 9 months. She tells him that even though he's dead, it's his turn to give back what he had learned to other people. She also tells him that people can't see or hear him, but when he will talk to people, they'll think of it as their own thoughts. With this knowledge, Pete goes back to the land of the living. There he follows a guy named Ted. Ted is a handsome, charming, and shy guy. Ted was looking for a training school for pilots. While looking for his boss, stumbled upon a girl and got his hand dirty while trying to help him. He goes to meet his boss, who turns out to be Al. As Ted shakes hands with Al, the oil also gets transferred. When Al goes to scratch, his face gets darker from the oil, and his cigar also gets shocked in the oil. So when Ted tried to light Al's cigar for him, he created a mess. On the next day, the training, Ted again messes up by showering Al with red water. With that, Al scolds Ted in front of everyone and sends him back. So, that night everyone decided to give Ted a farewell party. With Pete as Ted's guardian angel, he makes small talk with a girl. But due to Ted being shy, nothing really comes out of it. While flying back in his plane, Ted finds himself in a heavy storm. So, Ted lands in a nearby field to sit the storm out. There, Pete and Ted find a homeless man who could hear what Pete was saying. Pete tries to communicate with Ted through this homeless guy, with some inspirational words for the homeless person. Ted finds the motivation to go back for his training. When they come back to the airport, Pete finds Dorinda there and tries to talk to her, but she can't hear him. Ted also finds Dorinda and makes small talk with her. All of a sudden, Al comes and sees both of them talking. At first, he tells Ted to go away, but seeing Dorinda's interest in him, Al gives Ted another chance and plans to unite them. The next day, Ted is doing another fire extinguishing test, this time with Pete giving him courage and teaching him to be calm. Ted passes the fire extinguishing test with his great piloting skills. Then we cut to Ted driving with Dorinda to help her with groceries, while Pete's spirit is sitting in the back seat. On their way, they stumble upon a rough school bus driving uncontrollably. After narrowly passing the school bus, they noticed the bus stopped and the driver was having a heart attack. But Ted's relentless effort in giving CPR saved the old man's life. After reaching home alone by herself, Dorinda intentionally makes a lot of mess around the house and even pours flour on herself, to make it look as if she was really busy preparing for her and Ted's small date. When Ted comes, he compliments her for doing so much work, but Spirit Pete knew something wasn't right. After Ted and Dorinda finished eating, they enjoyed a dance together and embraced a kiss, all while Pete was watching and getting disoriented. After Ted left, the Spirit Pete stayed behind to have some moments with Dorinda. Not long after, Pete wakes in a patch of grass in front of the mysterious woman. Pete asks her why he was there. The mysterious woman says Pete needs to understand that his life is over and he needs to let go of Dorinda. Pete gets upset by this. The mysterious woman again says she saw the good in Pete and she gave him a chance to move on and a chance to remember that he had a good life. She also says until he moves on he won't be free, nor will Dorinda. So, Pete is sent back to the world of living again. The scene cuts to a flaming forest again, with many firefighters trying to extinguish the fire. And Ted is using an air tanker to help from above. After everything cooled down, Al and Ted were chatting in the office. The radio ring from firefighters stuck in the forest fire. With Pete's spirit encouraging him without hesitation, Ted took the mission to himself. Seeing this, Al informed Dorinda about the situation. Dorinda didn't want to lose another person she loved in the same way she lost Pete. So, she took off from Ted's plane to do the mission by herself. Seeing this, Pete's spirit also went along with Dorinda. Despite Ted's and Al's request, Dorinda didn't stop. After flying for some time, she noticed the flare in the sky from the trapped firefighters. The first attempts to put out the fire on their part failed. She had to lower her plane for this to work. So, in her second attempt with encouragement from Pete, she flew much lower and successfully cleared the path from the firefighters. They were able to reach safety thanks to her. She felt finally free from Pete's shadow. She and Pete finally could move on. But due to the heat from the forest, the plane started to malfunction. As a result, Dorinda had to land the plane into the river. Just like that, she got rescued by others. Ted and Dorinda embraced each other and Pete also finally let go of her and moved on to the afterlife. That was all from the video. Subscribe to this channel to watch more content like this. See you next time.